Let's try this again. I got a coffee. Hopefully that wake me up a bit. I've had about 4 hours sleep and a banana, so that's helpful. I wanted to talk about something called Operation Lockstep, which was funded by the Rockefellers. It's very similar to Dark Winter, that exercise that was 2001, but this was in 2010. So 2010, the Rockefeller Foundation came out with a report with 4 different scenarios for future development. And this is incredible when you look at it, really, for what it is. So I'll try and read it better this time because I completely cocked it up last time. So Lockstep is the first of 4 scenarios. And basically what this shows you is how they play with us, how they see us as cattle, as toys to be moved around a chessboard to try out future scenarios to fit in what is Agenda 2030 and all these other things, Project for the New American Century, Silent Weapons, Quiet Wars, all of these things that they plan out. And they have to let us know because it's something called revelation of the method. When you look into the cult that is behind this, revelation of the method is their way of telling you what they're going to do to you without actually making it clear. So it gives you a half chance of stopping it. And if you don't stop it, then they believe that the karma is on you and you should have learned and stood in the way, which is how psychotic these people are. That's why you see a lot of these themes in the movies, in TV programs, especially on Netflix at the moment. It's popping up everywhere, this pandemic stuff. And not just that, this AI technology and all this rollout of the technocracy that's to come. But this is called Lockstep. So it's the first of 4 scenarios. And the headline is a world of tighter top-down government control and more authoritarian leadership with limited innovation and growing citizen pushback, which pretty much means more government control. Actually, what that really means is more control for the bankers and limited creativity and limited, limited freedoms for all of us. So the very first part of it says, and this is going to ring true for what's happening now. Remember, this was in 2010. They wrote this. So their scenario is like a pitch, like a movie pitch. This is how little respect and regard they have for us. So they're trying out their movie scenarios on humanity. So this is what they start off with. In 2012, the pandemic that the world had been anticipating for years finally hit. Don't know who was anticipating that, but apparently they were. Unlike 2009's H1N1, this new influenza strain, flu, originated from wild geese, not bats, was extremely virulent and deadly. Even the most pandemic-prepared nations were quickly overwhelmed when the virus wreaked havoc around healthy young adults. Well, we saw that it was actually a lot of the elderly. 95% of those elderly that died had comorbid issues with them in the UK. I think we had 33 under 40, also comorbid, and 3 under 19 dying of this, with this, not of this. That's a crucial thing to remember. So it goes on to say the pandemic also had a deadly effect on economics, international mobility of both people, travel, and goods screeched to a halt. So in America, a lot of the goods are not getting across the country. Therefore, you're going to have not just an economic crash, but starvation and people being desperate to eat. That's just one part of it. What about things break down, cars break down, house break down? If anything in your house breaks down, they can't get parts to you. It debilitated industries like tourism and broke global supply chains. Even locally, normally bustling shops and office buildings sat empty for months, devoid of both employees and customers. Now, I mean, what does that sound like? This was 2010, remember, 10 years ago. The pandemic blanketed the earth, though disproportionate numbers died in Africa, Southeast Asia, and Central America, where the virus spread like wildfire in the absence of official containment protocols. So they're basically saying that if you don't follow what they're telling you, more people would die. Obviously, this is a scenario, so it's not going to play out like this. But look how close that is for what has actually happened. But even in developed countries, containment was a challenge. The United States' initial policy of strongly discouraging citizens from flying proved deadly in its leniency, accelerating the spread of the virus, not just within the US, but across borders. So it's closing your borders down, which obviously happened. They were saying in this, it would be too lenient to let people out of the country. So we saw all this playing out in the real world, affecting people's real lives, affecting real economies. It's amazing to look at this and read this out and think, all I think in my head is pandemic. This was planned. I'm not saying it wasn't a real thing, but they're planned for this scenario. This is clear as day. It's written here. And I'll put the PDF download in the description, and also an article that a chap has written from Behind the News, which actually explains it a lot better than probably I can. So another part goes on to say, during the pandemic, national leaders around the world flexed their authority and imposed airtight rules and restrictions, from the mandatory wearing of masks to full body temperature checks. We've seen these coming out. There's apps coming out and even systems coming out where you go into work and they take your biometrics and check your temperature. What's wrong with a finger up the arse? I don't know. That's what they used to do at work. And this is then it says the checks at their entries to communal spaces like train station and supermarkets. This is madness. Even after the pandemic faded, this more authoritarian control and oversight of citizens and their activities stuck and even intensified. In order to protect themselves from the spread of increasingly global problems, from pandemics and transnational terrorism to environmental crises and rising poverty, leaders around the world took a firm grip on power. Now, you read this, what a good way to read this is what they're saying to the government. So the government would read this. They wouldn't be involved in putting this together. This is coming from the bankers, from the Rockefellers, or Rothschilds, these sort of people, these think tanks. So they'll pass this on to the government, and the government will be implementing these things. Again, the government are very little control over what's actually happening. It goes on to say, a relevant question is whether the Rockefeller empire are using the widespread fears around the COVID-19 to advance an agenda of lockstep, top-down social control. Sorry, that's the actual article I'm reading. So this guy who's talking here, and I'll put this article in the link as well, is saying, are they using this scenario to actually just play out this? And quite clearly they are. Dark Winter is another one, but this is beyond the pale. It's like looking at a sci-fi movie and actually looking out your window and seeing it happening. So it says, back to the actual PDF as well from the Rockefeller Foundation now. At first, the notion of a more controlled world gained wide acceptance and approval. We've seen that happen in the UK. We've seen people in the US and the UK calling for their human rights to be taken away from them, and of others as well around them. Citizens willingly gave up some of their sovereignty and their privacy to more paternalistic states in exchange for greater safety and stability. Citizens were more tolerant and even eager for top-down direction and oversight, and national leaders had more latitude to impose order in the ways they saw fit. They go on to say that didn't last too long. And they're playing out a scenario, and after a little while, people got in the developed world, which is clearly another inversion, that people started to push back. So they play out this scenario completely to see what would happen. Now, I mean, you read it like that, and it obviously hits 90% of the points of what's happening. But the real thing for me is that they're running these plays years ahead. So nothing. If anything is taken away from this, is that they're planning for these things to happen. Whether they plan for this to actually go about and for this to actually happen in this way, I'm not saying it was done on purpose, but there's good evidence that it may well have had some pre-thought to it. The big thing to take away from this, and Dark Winter and Agenda 2030 and all of these things, a project for the new American century, it was Agenda 21 originally, but they're a little bit behind, lazy bastards, is that they see us as something to be played with. They see 8 billion people on this planet, something to be moved around, to be pushed in that direction, to just testing it out. They see us as being cells in a petri dish, just to have a go at, even to the point now force vaccinations on us. That even seems to be pushed back. And what we have to remember is that we're a very small section. This has been going on for thousands of years, these bloodlines doing this. Um, so the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, the DuPonts, the Goldschmidts, all of these big families, the British royals, they're all in on it. And they all see us as something to be controlled and played with and tested on. And we need to realize that they're the ones with the real power, not the governments. This is what a scenario they're playing out for the government, showing, look, this could happen or that could happen. There's 4 other scenarios in this Rockefeller Foundation article, which is called, let me just get to the top and find the title. These are long articles and they just rabble on. I mean, they don't have very much to do, I suppose. They've got all the money in the world. They do just sit around writing these things and planning how to dick around with humanity. So this is called Scenarios for the Future of Technology and International Development. Now, I mean, who give these people the right to do this to 8 billion people on the earth? Who give the Rockefeller Foundation right to do this? It's alongside a thing called GBN, Global Business Network, a member of the Monitor Group, which sounds to me like the Watchers from the esoteric, the ancient text. That sounds like a modern technology way of talking about the Watchers. These people do go all the way back to those times, even if it's just in their mind. But I would suggest it's actually bloodline related. It's madness. So go over there and check that out. You can find it quite easy with the Google. Again, they want people to look at these things, and I don't think anyone will do anything about it. Scenarios for the future of technology and international development. I give them really shitty, boring names, so you won't bother looking at them. But you have to scroll quite far down to find Lockstep. Lockstep is scenario 1 of 4. The other ones I haven't read into yet. I'm sure they're just as eye-opening. But what we could do is look at those 4 quickly and bear in mind that the other 3 scenarios that haven't happened will probably happen very soon. So they've ticked off Lockstep. So the next one is Clever Together. Nice name. Sounds like a shitty boy band. And that is described as a world in which highly coordinated and successful strategies emerge for addressing both urgent and entrenched worldwide issues. I just fell asleep reading that. And next one is Hack Attack, a bit more exciting. It's a good book called Hack Attack, actually, about Rupert Murdoch's News Corp and how they hack people's phones. And that is described as an economically unstable and shock-prone world. It sounds like relationships, in which governments weaken, criminals thrive, and dangerous innovations emerge. Dangerous innovations, what, to them or to us? This is what we need to understand, is that that's their way of looking at the world. So what's danger to them is not danger to us. So what do they mean by dangerous innovations emerge? Did that mean just basically things that will be danger to them? I would highly believe so. Anything that gets in the way of their agenda of a one world government, of total world control and planetary control. So let me just read that one again. Hack Attack, an economically unstable and shock-prone world in which governments weaken, criminals thrive, and dangerous innovations emerge. That sounds like a tick list of the things that they want. They want an economically unstable and shock-prone world. They've created one of them over the last couple of months, in which governments weaken, criminals thrive. Well, you've just let out a bunch of paedophiles and murderers from prisons, so COVID-19 won't spread around the prisons. If masks work, which they don't, but even if they did, why would you not just give the paedophiles and serial killers in prison just masks so it didn't spread around there? Or just let it spread? Mental. So criminals thrive. Yes, if you let the paedophiles out of prison and the serial killers out of prison, they will thrive, yes. And dangerous innovations emerge. So that's anything that gets in their way, basically. The last one is called Smart Scramble, which sounds like an 80s board game. An economically depressed world. Fuck me. An economically depressed world in which individuals and communities develop localized makeshift solutions to a growing set of problems. So that basically says everybody's skint, so everybody has to come up with their own small solutions and help each other. That sounds dangerous to them. They all sound dangerous. Yeah. Smart Scramble, an economically depressed world in which individuals and communities develop localized makeshift solutions to a growing set of problems. These are growing set of problems that they've caused. This is something that David Icke called problem, reaction, solution. Each one of them is a problem that garners a reaction from the world and the solution that they supply. Therefore, you have a new world order of things. So these are 4 different things. So we've just had Lockstep. So I would watch out, download this, keep this, show as many people as you can, not the video, although that would be nice, the PDF, and say, look, watch out for the tick list. Hack Attack, Clever Together, and Smart Scramble. Probably not going to be in that order. I've ticked Lockstep off already. And be aware that these people are messing with us, playing with us. I said yesterday in the video that the UK have basically, well, no, they have. They've stolen from the British public £150 million from people's dormant accounts that have been lying there for 15 years. That's still not their money to touch, and they've distributed it to what will be their mates to solve a problem that they've created in the first place, because they're idiots. Really, unfortunately, these people are idiots, especially the governments are idiots. The banking families and the intelligence agencies are psychopaths. They're not stupid. Clearly, they're not stupid. I mean, every PC that was built by Microsoft had a back door in it, so they could basically get into your system. I mean, that's been known for a long time. I mean, yeah, that's been known for a long time, and that was allowed to happen. So yeah, very, very strange. I'll put the links into the. Well, it's not strange. It's quite clear what they're doing. We need to wake up to this and get people to wake up to this. These things are planned, and they're planned for or planned by, but they're definitely thought about, and the way we're thought about is disgusting. Luckily for us, there's a lot of us and very few of these people, and they're starting to get very, very shaky, as you can see from the fact that they're banning any sort of free speech. They've been doing this for a while. Bots attacking people that are talking about these things, but there's 8 billion voices in the world, and that doesn't last very long. So we're heading to a transhumanist agenda where they want to they think that humans aren't good enough. Elon Musk thinks that humans are not good enough to withstand artificial intelligence that they've created, by the way. So we need to merge with technology to be able to survive. I mean, what is surviving anyway? They keep pushing this fear of death. To me, it's projection. They're terrified of death because I think they know that when they do, they're going to have to pay for this at some point. And also they're projecting on us their want to improve themselves. They hate who they are. So they want to improve themselves by blending with technology. They want to upgrade themselves. And they're projecting that on us. Someone like Elon Musk will hate who he is. I mean, they've plucked him out of obscurity. He was a geeky boy. If you look at the early videos of him, they're giving some model wife. He's got no hair, so I don't know where the hair came from. He's got no... He's got some model wife. He's got his big sports car, and they've basically just given him a load of money and to be the front man, to be the Iron Man of it all. And he's gone for it, and he's turned into a psychopath, and he's upgrading himself. He's all of these psychopaths, all of these salesmen at that level. All the Bill Gates. Bill Gates was born into a eugenics cult, Planned Parenthood, as I said before. This is all eugenics. All of it is about culling the earth. It's all about the Georgia Guidestones, getting us down to 500,000. I think it was 500,000 people. So we're easily controlled. Bizarre. Go and have a look at it. The evidence is there. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe. Please subscribe to my BitChute channel. So if you go over there, it's Glitch in the Code Show, I believe. But you'll find it if you just type Glitch in the Code. And please subscribe there because a lot of the videos will be going over there. I've already had 1 or 2 taken down. Go over to my website, glitchandcode.com, and check out some of the articles there. My film Prime for Panic comes out today on iconic.com. You can get 7-day free trial there. So you can watch that. That comes out at 4 p.m. this afternoon. So please go over and watch that. That's got some great people like Richard Grandin in it. It's David Icke's in it. Max Egan's in the film. Laura Eisenhower's in the film. Pierre XO, who's a very, very good producer in himself, filmmaker in himself. There's some great people in there. Charlie Robinson, who wrote The Global Octopus of Controls in it. Neil Sanders, one of my favourite authors. He writes books about mind control. Your thoughts are not your own. He's in it as well. So please go over there and check that film out 4 o'clock this afternoon and give me any feedback. You can get hold of me via my website or info@brickinthewallmedia.com. Give me an email or just drop some comments below. It'd be nice to hear back from you. Thank you for your time. I'm half asleep. I've just had a coffee and a banana. I'm starting to wake up. I probably should have done this later on. But when you read these things, you just want to share it because there's not many videos about Lockstep on the internet at the moment. And I think we need to get this out and get this shared. Download the PDF and keep it and share the information all you can, because these people have been planning this for a long, long time. And they see us as something to be played with. So I'll speak to you later. Take care. Bye-bye.